Hi, my name's Ilana Stockman, and I'm here to talk about Donald Trump and Frederick Douglass. I also never thought I would ever say that sentence, put those two names together in a sentence. But here we are. Welcome to the first in my series, Talking Back to Trump. This series will look at the many toxic tactics that Donald Trump and his followers use to abuse us and make us think we're crazy. We need some tools to talk back, to recognize these toxic tactics and to talk back to them. So today we're going to start with the most obvious and one of the most fundamental toxic tactics, the one that cuts through everything toxic abusers do, and that is lying. Okay, so what did Donald Trump do yesterday about Frederick Douglass? The first day of Black History Month, he gave a talk to a group of people about Frederick Douglass, in which he said, yeah, he's a great guy, he's done great things, and people are paying attention, I've noticed. That is what he said about Frederick Douglass, the abolitionist leader who's been dead since 1895. Donald Trump has no idea who he is. No idea. So, putting aside for a moment the tremendous insult his lack of knowledge is to the entire African American community, to the Obamas, or to anyone who cares at all about history and facts and slavery and repairing social ills. Yeah, it's a direct attack. His not knowing that is a direct attack. But I want to put that aside for a second and use this as an illustration of toxic tactic number one, lying. I especially want to look at his last two words in the sentence, I've noticed. Because whatever else he had said about, Frederick Douglass, great guy, really great guy. Like, okay, Donald, he's not sending you his resume. Frederick Douglass is not sitting across the table from you. You've not seen him on reality television. He has not been on The Apprentice. Just so we're clear, okay? He hasn't been alive in over 100 years. So you really haven't noticed him around, yeah? So those two words are the ones that I want to look at, I've noticed, because the I've noticed are the most direct and refutable lie of all of it. The rest of it, he could possibly maneuver his way out of. But when he says, oh yeah, I've noticed, he's doing what probably a lot of us have seen in different places when somebody is trying to hide the fact that they didn't do their homework, have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, I know. He doesn't know. He absolutely does not know. He hasn't noticed, unless he's been, hanging around graveyards and talking to ghosts. He hasn't noticed Frederick Douglass recently. Okay? So this is a flat-out lie. Toxic tactic number one. The abuser is looking right at you and lying. It's really quite scary a little bit when you think about what Donald was doing there. He was lying straight to the entire world in front of all of these cameras and not caring, maybe not even realizing he does it so often and so easily, so he might not even realize that he's doing it. But okay, we know, because we are getting educated. We are starting to name and point out toxic tactics. So we, the general population, those of us who need to put an end to this because we want to stop the spread of hate and the spread of toxicity, we need these tools to do that. And the first tool is paying attention and giving it a name. So here we are, we're going to notice this and we're going to give it a name. Toxic tactic number one, lying. Aha. Okay, so now what do we do? What do we do in the face of lying? The answer is really quite simple. Refute it. Refute it. Do it clearly, concisely, directly. Choose one lie at a time. Okay, sometimes like when Hillary Clinton was up against Donald's many lies, we could all see it was hard for her because she had so many to deal with. So she ended up saying, go to my website and fact check, which was really great advice. That was her way of refuting it, but it's not quite as effective when you're saying, oh yeah, there are 75 lies in there, or even just 3. Check it out, check out the truth. That's much vaguer. What's much more effective is to choose one lie, speak to it directly, and say the truth. So, for example, speaking back to, oh yes, Frederick Douglass is a great guy, I've noticed. You might say, you can't possibly have noticed, Donald, Mr. President. You couldn't possibly have noticed because he's been dead for 125 years, 120 something years. 122 years. Thank you. You can't possibly have noticed, Mr. President, because he's been dead a long time. You can't possibly notice because Frederick Douglass was an activist in the 1800s before social media and reality television. You can't possibly have noticed, Mr. President. You couldn't possibly know because he hasn't been around for a long time. Because Frederick Douglass was an abolitionist working around the time of the Civil War, before any of us in this room were born. Okay? So simple, clear, direct, straight to the actual lie. Okay? So again, toxic tactic number 1, lying. It's one of a series of tactics that revolve around deception. In the series, we're going to see some more toxic tactics around deception. Altogether, we have 26 so far. Maybe by the time we finish the series, we'll have discovered more. So don't hold me to the 26. It's at least 26. Okay, so in each of these clips, we're going to look at another tactic, and we're going to try to find ways to talk back to them. This is the Talking Back to Trump, Toxic Tactics of Verbal Abuse series. My name's Ilana Stockman. Check back here, like my page, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you have other tips or other examples that you want to share. Share in the comments or write to me directly. Have a great day.